Hey, what's going on, you guys? This is Madam 81. I'm coming back to you again. This is about the Central Park 5. If you do not know, they have a Netflix series. I urge everyone to go check that out because it gives you the back and behind the scenes of what the boys was going through, and it's something that needs to be talked about because it's hundreds and thousands of people that are wrongly convicted for crimes that they did not commit, and they make them serve time in jail, and then when they're exonerated, what they do to try to pacify people is go and they throw large sums of money at them. Like, that's not going to give them men their life back. That's not going to, give them the experiences that they missed out on, prom, school, graduation, things of that nature. So, this is by the Huffington Post, like I said, and it says Linda Fairstein resigns from board as Central Park 5 resonates backlash. Reignites backlash. It says the former prosecutor has faced renewed backlash after the release of Alva DuVernay's stunning Netflix limited series, When They See Us. This article is done by Miss Kimberly Richards, and I'm going to play you an interview with Mr. Blair Underwood. He played the lawyer in there for one of the boys of the Central Park 5, which interestingly was the divorce lawyer for one of the young men, the young man's mother, and he was a divorce, attorney. He wasn't a criminal attorney at all. So this was, you get to see a little bit of that as well in the series. So without further ado, I'm going to...
That made headlines back in 1989 involving the wrongful conviction of 5 black and Latino boys, best known as the Central Park 5.
Well, Blair Underwood plays an attorney in this series. Good to see you, Blair.
Good to see you all again. Now known as the Exonerated 5, by the way.
Exactly.
Which I like. We should have led off with that. Yeah. I was thinking about you before you shot this. I mean, do you remember when this was unfolding in the late 80s?
I do. This was 1989 when it started, so I was doing LA law at the time, playing a lawyer, a much younger lawyer on TV at the time. But I just remember hoping and praying that it wasn't true, that these 5 boys had not done this terrible, heinous act, which was the beating and rape of a female jogger. So just crossing fingers. But, it was years later, 14 years after that, they were completely exonerated.
Exonerated and released from prison.
And released from prison, and the city paid $41 million. They don't get their life back and everything that they took from them, but it was something.
This film, or this series, sends you through, basically every single emotion you could possibly feel. There are people who've told me they had to stop it, but they get back to it.
Yeah.
What would you say is the thing that you hope people muster the courage to see this for?
Yeah, I hear that all the time, and that just take a breath. So you have to see it. It's educational. It's important because not much has changed. We were talking about SZA and Sephora,
exactly,
and Oprah and Hermes. Now that's small fries compared to these boys. I say boys because they're 14, 15 years old, exactly, 16 at the time, but their lives being completely turned upside down. So, everything old is new again. Not a whole lot has changed.
Yeah, but let's hang on that because they are boys. And when this was happening, they were portrayed as villains. And I feel the key to this particular series is that we see them as the little boys that they are, with their families, having this incredibly difficult time. Do you feel like that message has been portrayed throughout the entire piece, and now you know who they are, as opposed to
absolutely. It's 4 hours. It's really a film in 4 parts.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say episodes, because you go under those layers and you see their humanity, which is necessary. Because then they were talking about their animals and they were objectified and they could be thrown away. Yeah. There were full-page ads taken out by our current president that called for the death penalty days after the crime happened, days after, before due process or anything else. So the beauty of this piece, though it's hard to watch, is that you see their humanity and you see these children.
They're babies.
As a parent, I was saying yesterday, for me, I felt so helpless watching this, what kind of emotions did it evoke in
That's
you?
it. You know, it's funny. My wife and it's ironic. My wife and I watched it together. She cried. I got angry.
Yeah.
Because that sense of just powerlessness as an actor playing an attorney for this young boy that I wanted to help, but also in real life. And then I watched it with my sons and daughter. And, you know, as young African-American men, especially, because they're young men now, that sense of profound impotence and powerlessness, because there are times when they walk out that door, I can't be there all the time.
Yeah.
Like Daddy.
You know what Ava does really well, obviously? She was able to talk about the criminal justice system and how it doesn't necessarily work for you. So you, as you talked about being helpless and hopeless, and here you are playing a divorce attorney, representing a huge criminal trial. How is that even possible? Explain Bobby Burns as well.
Yeah, so Bobby Burns was the divorce attorney for Yusef Salam's mother, Sharon. So how it happened was he just knew them. It was a personal thing. And the family trusted him. But he was a divorce attorney. He had never done criminal law, so he was really in over his head at the time.
His mother comes down.
Blair, incredible job.
Everybody should watch that and watch it with your children to make sure. We got to give a shout out. Is it true? We have a little game we're going to play. Blair's Believe It or Not.
Believe it or not.
Your mother at age 82 is going to college?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, wow!
Just
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Her name is Marilyn Underwood.
Go, Marilyn.
Get it, Marilyn.
Get Marilyn.
That's right, and she's getting. Oh, look at her! Look at Mama. Am I there? That's my dad.
Is it true that you gave Nick Jonas Priyanka Chopra's number, and that's how that band got
the
hooked?
digits.
We heard, brother. We heard.
Ready for that, but I didn't.
Say yes and no.
No, you have cuff links given to you from the Obama White House.
That is true.
Yes, I believe that.
Listen, we know.
I took a mug. I took a mug.
Research.
It was not given to me.
I
that's
took a
right.
mug. I know this one's true. Wait, you played Miranda's boyfriend on Sex and the City,
Yes,
but
yes.
initially we're going to be Samantha's boyfriend?
That is true.
What? That would have been a little sexy. Well, Dr. Lou said
That was one of my favorite roles.
thank
Did you not love him?
Oh, the doctor, the hot doctor.
I was like, Miranda,
Watch out
get it
there now.
together.
Yeah. Didn't you get it together? Ethan said I love you.
Wait, what y'all can't see is that our whole set just said, "Whoo, yeah, that would have been."
Miranda, get it together.
Blair, it's so good to see you, man.
Yes,
We're
such a
so good to see you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Such a
When They
pleasure.
See Us is available now on Netflix. Please go see it.
Okay, you guys, that is it for that video. It says the article starts. It says former prosecutor Linda Fairstein has resigned from at least 2 boards in wake of the reignited backlash she received for her role overseeing the so-called Central Park 5 case decades ago. Fairstein, who has written over 20 mystery novels since the mid-90s, has resigned from the board of nonprofit Safe Horizon and from the board of Alma Mater, her alma mater, Vassar College, according to the announcements made on Tuesday. Safe Horizon is an organization that provides support to victims of violence, released a statement on Tuesday announcing Fairstein's decision to resign. The statement comes days after people on social media have urged the organization to sever ties with Fairstein. After careful consideration, Linda Fairstein has made the difficult decision to resign from the Safe Horizons Board of Directors. The statement read in part, "We thank her for her decades of pioneering work on the behalf of victims of sexual assault and abuse." Elizabeth H. Bradley, president of the Vassar College in, I'm not going to butcher that name, in New York, announced Fairstein's resignation in a letter to the Institute's community on Tuesday. And this is the actual tweet that went out from President Elizabeth Bradley, announcing the resignation of one of the members' board of trustees. So, the article goes on to say, "I have just learned that the chair of the board of trustees that Linda Fairstein has resigned from the board as of today, she wrote. I am told that Mrs. Feinstein felt that given the recent widespread debate over her role in the Central Park 5 case, she believes that her continuing as a board member would be harmful to Vassar. Bradley added that the events of the last few days have underscored how the history of racial and ethnic tensions in the community continue to deeply influence us till today. Indeed, the recent release of Ava DuVernay's stunning 4-part Netflix series, When They See Us, has notably continued the growing conversation in the media about how systemic racism in the criminal justice system affects young Black and Latino boys and girls. The limited script series spotlights the lives of 5 Black and Latino teenagers, now men, Corey Wise, Kevin Richardson, Raymond Sonata, Yusef Salam, and Anton McClay, who were wrongly convicted of raping a white 28-year-old female jogger in New York City's Central Park in 1989. The teenagers known as the Central Park 5 each spent years behind bars before their conviction was vacated in 2002 after conclusive evidence in a confession linked serial rapist and murderer Matías Reyes to the crime. Someone actually confessed, and DNA. Fairstein, who was the chief Manhattan sexual crimes prosecutor at the time the 5 boys were prosecuted, has come under fire on social media after her role in the case was portrayed in When They See Us, which came out on May the 31st. If you haven't went to go see it, please check it out. And this is the recent picture of the gentlemen who were the Central Park 5, with the director, who was very beautiful, in this picture. The article goes on to say, as the series shows, the former prosecutor didn't personally try the case in court, but according to the Associated Press, she observed the boys' 1989 interrogations. The teenagers, ages 14 to 16, later maintained that they were coerced into false confessions, which were laced with inconsistencies through scare tactics and threats and psychological manipulation. Fairstein, who went on to write mystery novels dating back as early as 1996, told the New York Post on Tuesday that she additionally sent letters of resignation to boards of the other organizations due to the mob mentality reaction to the Netflix series. A mob, right? Imagine how those 5 boys felt. But okay. Each of these organizations does a great job, she said. It's also foolish of the bullies to punish the charities. Total pig-headed and stupid. Well, Fairstein has previously faced backlash for her role in the Central Park 5 case. Last year, the Mystery Writers of America withdrew Grandmaster Award after facing criticism online. Well, good. I'm glad that they did. Over the years, Fairstein has repeatedly denied that the teenagers were coerced and have defended the handling of the prosecution. I bet you would. Because if it was you, you would probably feel different. A Change.org petition was created earlier this week calling for retailers and publishers to pull Feinstein's books and sever ties with the former prosecutor. The petition gained over 80,000 signatures by Wednesday. And, you know, in this case, the voice does count. Your voice does count. So, yeah, keep that in mind. Speaking about the renewed backlash towards Fairstein, Sonata, one of the Central Park Five, told TMZ over the week that the former prosecutor has to pay for her crimes, will have to pay for her crime. She does. And that is the end of the article, which is a very good article. If you have not went to go see the Netflix series, please, I urge you to go check it out. It is very emotional, it is very powerful, and it gives insight to something that happens every day among black and brown children, black and brown men and women across the United States. We are always prejudged to be criminals and animals. And also, your president, who's currently the president of the United States, has came out against these boys back in 1989. He said that they needed to enact the death penalty to kill these young men, even though they were exonerated. So, I mean, that just goes to show you, just think, if Donald Trump had his way, these young men would not be standing before us today as free men, even though, you know, it was prejudgment. They just basically went off of, you know, the initial reports. White woman in New York City jogging, minding her business, gets raped and beaten by an assailant. And, you know, these young boys had to spend a great portion of their life in jail because of that. So with that, I am about to, you know, end this. My name is Madam 81. Shout out to the director, Ava DuVernay. I apologize if I butchered her name, but great job. When They See Us, please go watch it on Netflix, please. Like I said, very powerful, very moving series, and there's 4 parts to it. So please take your time and watch that. Support, you know, the sister or whatnot. And I would also like to hear what you have to say in the comments. Please drop down. Tell me what you think. If you have any experiences involving the police and them unfairly judging you, I would also like to hear those stories as well. Until then, I am Madam 81, and I will talk to you guys later.